Hey y'all, welcome back to my channel. Today's video is going to be another online dating horror story. Not so much horror story, but more so about a catfish. First of all, I don't even understand why people catfish. You know, like if you're ugly, or if you feel like you're ugly, or you feel like you're so humongous nobody will ever love you, that's not true. Because there are tons of websites where guys fetish over BBWs, or women who fetish over large teddy bear men or bears or whatever you want to call yourself. And there's really no need. I feel like there's somebody out there for everyone. So there's no need for you to say that you're someone and you're not, or make up a whole new life and that's not even anywhere near close to yours. So anywho, I'll start the story time. So I met this guy on KIK Date. Yeah, KIK Date. And we were talking and he seemed really cool. So I was like, oh, okay, you know, he seems legit. And he looked like a tall, muscular guy with dreads. I'll insert a picture here or here so you can see what he looked like and, well, what he said he looked like, because now I actually know the picture that he used. And I should have known, but like, whatever. So, yeah, he used that picture and he seemed really cool. So, he said that he was 26 years old, from Atlanta, and he was a bodybuilder, but he was also an engineer. So I was already skeptical of the whole engineer bodybuilder thing. I was like, I don't know. And then in the picture, he was like, you know, like ripped cock diesel, you know, dreads, tall, dark skin, blah, 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 the usual. So I was like, I was kind of skeptical because I know what I can pull, and that's a bit on the higher end of things. I'm just honest with myself. Like, come on now. Everybody knows what's in or not in their league if you know, go by those standards. I do, so whatever. And I just figured, I was like, I don't know, like either he's weird or has a whole bunch of children or he's lying about something. So we talked on the phone, and when we talked, I recognized, like, I know what a fat guy sounds like. You know, I've dated fat guys before. It's nothing new. So, like, just like by the breathing and just like the tone, I was like, he sounds like he's a bit on the husky side. I was like, I don't know if that's, you know, matching up. So we had talked for about a week, and I was like, you know, I was still kind of skeptical. So I was like, you know, let's talk on Skype, like how I always do. So he was like, okay, that's fine. I was like, okay, cool. So I was on my way home, and then he tells me like, oh, you know, in the past I've used other people's pictures and acted like I was somebody else other than myself. And I was like, okay, cool. But you're the guy in the picture that, like, you said you were, right? Like, that's who you are. And he's like, no, I look better than that. So I knew that the crap that he told me was most likely all a lie, and I was just like, oh great, another psycho. So after we talked on the phone that night, I said, you know, we really need to Skype now because you're not saying who you really are. So I said, you know, describe yourself, then if you look better than the guy in the picture. He said, oh, I can't describe myself. What? Everyone can describe themselves. Like, it's not hard. Like, what are you, tall, short, black, white, Chinese? Like, what do you look like? Big nose, small nose, big eyes, little eyes? What? Come on, seriously? Like, I was like, oh man, I'm so over it. So I told him, I said, okay, so if you don't want to describe yourself, then send me a picture. And I was like, okay, waiting for the picture. And he sends me a picture of what he actually looks like. And he says that after he sends the picture, he's like, I still want to continue talking to me, and yeah, he hopes that I'm not too upset. So I was already scared to open up the picture because I'm just expecting the absolute worst. So once again, the picture that he said he looked like. Alright. Okay. And what he ended up looking like. And I was just so appalled because the pictures weren't even nowhere near close, like, and I just don't understand why he thinks that it would be okay. And the funny thing is, he sent like full body pictures of this man, and I guess he went on like Google Images to Google dick pictures, and I'm so glad I never sent this weirdo any pictures. And I'm just like, what kind of weirdo are you to go on Google Images and Google black dicks to send to somebody? Like, are you serious? So after a while, when I was like looking around there, I saw a fitness page, and then it's this bodybuilder named Ulysses, and I was like, what in the hell? So he used that man's pictures, and he really ends up looking like a Carl Winslow. Like, are you serious? Are you really serious? But the funniest part of the situation is his actual real life. So this Carl Winslow man was actually 45, had either 4 kids or 5 kids, divorced, and at the time, one of his daughters was the same age as me. Really? And then he had the nerve to say, I'm upset because he doesn't look like what he said he looked like, and I should still talk to him anyway because appearance isn't everything. Very true. Appearance is not everything to me. I'm not a shallow individual, but you lied about your whole entire life. And what do I look like being a stepmom to somebody who's the same age as me? How does that work? Like at the Thanksgiving table, like, oh hey stepmom slash you could be my sister, can you pass me the yams? Like, no, that's not how any of this is going to work. I just thought that it was hilarious that he really got an attitude with me because I didn't want to talk to him because he literally lied about his whole entire life. And all he could think of was, oh, I'm just mad because he doesn't look like the picture. I mean, sure, yeah, it's a little disheartening that you go from this Ulysses guy to Carl Winslow. Yeah, I don't know who in their right mind would stick with that, but I'm not. So I was just appalled and shocked. Like, are you serious? And the funny thing was, months later, or maybe weeks later, he had messaged me again. He was like, hey, how are you? Are you still mad at me? And I said, you're still using this man's picture. Are you serious? What do you mean? Like, you haven't even learned a lesson, like, whatsoever. And I told him the same thing I'd said earlier in this video, that some women would love you exactly for who you are. Because he was a smart, intelligent, he was a really nice guy. But if you're going to sit here and lie, then, like, I don't know what to tell you. Like, we have nothing to talk about. No, I don't want to be your friend. No, none of that. And he also lied about where he lived. Before he said that he was in Atlanta, and he actually lives in Chicago. Who does that? Anywho. So that was the first and only time I had ever been catfished, because every other time that I've talked to a guy for at least 3 days to a week and I've met him online, I always talk on the phone first just to make sure that he doesn't sound like a hood rat from the slums. That's just my personal preference. I like for people to sound educated, not like they don't have common sense, and that goes for every race, not just black men. And definitely Skype them in regular natural lighting, because you can't hide in natural lighting. Like, it is what it is, like, either you accept it or you don't. And yeah, and then you can see if you vibe with that person or not. And then I hang out with them at least once, and sometimes I'll hang out with them and it goes absolutely nowhere because it's just like, no thanks. You know, like you're a bit not what I thought you would be in person. So, you know, just chuck up the deuces and get yourself out of there. But yeah. So yeah, so the story time is done. And I will see you guys in my next video. If you enjoyed this video, definitely give it a thumbs up. Comment below about your terrible catfish stories. I would love to read them. And if you guys would like to see more videos, definitely subscribe so you can stay in tune with all of my new content. So yeah, I'll see you guys in my next video. Bye.